We're in Thunder Bay, going after lake trout at this most northern pier, or the most northern point where you can target them. Thunder Bay Island's the spot. This might be some of the first lake trout I ever get with the old spear gun, so come along and see. It's flat, the water's supposed to be real clear, and the fish are stacked, so hopefully we can get one. Let's go. Perfect, you're good. Just for reference, when the regulations say the most southern pier where the Thunder Bay River enters Thunder Bay, that is what they're talking about. That location is the boundary. We have arrived at our location, Thunder Bay Island. We got a big drop off right here. We're in about 45 feet, and it's a cliff. And this is where Caleb said he was catching them, so we're gonna try and get them with a spear gun. So next time you see me, I'll be about 40 feet down with a spear gun trying to get one. We're just gonna drift this edge all the way down. So basically the north side of the island is where we can't fish. So this is our home right here. So let's get it. I just want to get in first and just see what it's like.
While we were trolling this, I was just like,
Okay. Alright, here we go. Right here. Huh? Nothing yet. Alright. I'm gonna head out just a little bit deeper. Welcome back underneath the water, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Jonathan Durka, and I'm just going to do a little narration, kind of walk through as this video goes through, just so you can kind of understand what we were doing, why we were doing what we were doing. So this is my first dive, just kind of doing a little preliminary dive, just to check out the scene, see what's down here, see what could happen if fish are swimming, middle of the water column, if they're relating to the bottom, and didn't really see much on this dive, but I'll give you a little equipment breakdown. This is 46-degree water temperature, so I'm running 5 mil socks and gloves. I have a 40-inch spear gun. I'm running a 5 mil top, 5 mil bottom, but I'm using a Farmer John style overall, so I got about 10 mils of cover across the chest because 46-degree water temperature is very cold, and even with all the gear I had on, I still wasn't able to stay in the water for more than like 2 hours. So me and Caleb were rotating. So drop down. You can see lots of structure, lots of rocks. Not seeing anything, so go ahead and head to the surface. Just kind of working out the kinks, working out, make sure my mask isn't fogging up, make sure my mask isn't leaking, those kind of things. So within a couple minutes of already being in the water, I see a fish on the bottom. It's 45 feet, so I see it on the bottom. So I think it's a lake trout. So I breathe up, take the dive, go investigate the fish. I think it's lake trout, so I'm going in hard, and sure enough, it is not a lake trout. It's actually a walleye. And when I see it's a walleye, I'm like, all right, time to dust off the spear gun, make sure my aim's on. So I'm like, I'll take this one just as a target practice. So line up, get nice and close, take the shot, and nail them. As always, try and secure your fish first. I got a full pass through with the spear, so I don't even have to worry about them ripping off, but I always recommend you go ahead and secure your fish before you head to the surface if possible. So that's what I do here. I got them heading to the surface. Nice easy dive, not working too hard. Breath holes are feeling good for the cold water I was in. Walleye! So we let Caleb know what we got here, and then go ahead and check the watch. take a look at it. 42 feet, 52 seconds top to bottom. Pretty good. But now that we know the aim's on, we got the, kind of dusted off the cobwebs. Go ahead and secure the fish. Gill or bleed and brain it. And, get back after what we're here for, the lake trout. Just for reference, this is going to be a full video, basically every dive I did from beginning to end. So you are going to see what I saw from the time I saw it, from the time I did it.
I see him from the surface. No, you're good.
And for anybody not familiar with quality of fish, one thing I like to do is like to bleed my fish. You get them right in the gills, right in the center there. What that does is allows all the blood to flow out of their fillet, and then you give them a little brain stab right there. That puts them out of their misery. And this has a really big effect when you go to fillet the fish. You'll notice that the fillets on these fish are almost translucent. The blood is completely emptied out of them, and the quality of the meat is just so much better. So it really pays dividends in the end when you go to eat these fish at home or wherever you give them to, that those fish are bled properly and you just have a superior quality fillet. So now the fish is secured. I got my knife put away. Gonna go ahead and pull the shooting line through the fish. That style of bungee right there, that little clip on the end, is called a pigtail, and I prefer those over the snap swivel kinds, especially in the cold water, just because your hands, when they're really cold like this, you don't have the same dexterity, you don't have the same strength in them, so helps a lot with that. So now that fish is secure, we're going to go ahead and just keep diving at this point. I see another fish on the bottom. I point to it. You probably can't see it from the camera, but take the breath, dive up, equalize, nice and slow, easy kicks right towards the bottom. You look kind of towards the top center of the screen, you can see the fish swimming, and that is a whitefish. And obviously right there, he doesn't want anything to do with me. He said absolutely not, takes off. So failed attempt there, just kind of taking a look, hoping to see a lake trout or a walleye, something laying on the bottom, but nothing doing. So at least I knew at this point that there were whitefish in the area. So that was also another cool fish to be able to target, which is legal here in Michigan.
Alright, so that's a whitefish is what I'm seeing down there. So whitefish are here. See if we can get one.
So I'm on the surface and I notice another silhouette on the bottom. I assume it's whitefish, so take my breath, dive down, and sure enough, it's a whitefish. You can see it right there in the top of the screen, and of course, just like the other one, tears out of there when I start getting too close. Nothing new with the whitefish, but I'm kind of a hard learner because this is all I did for the next 3 or 4 hours, dive bomb on fish, and it didn't work out great. Now the walleye is a different story. You'll see here in the next couple videos that the walleye will sleep on the bottom, but the whitefish and lake trout were not so susceptible to my dive bombing. And if you look to the left right here, you'll see a white bag, a plastic bag right next to the rocks. Of course, there's always some kind of plastic in everywhere we go at some point. So, as I've always said, clean up the lakes, clean up the waterways, clean up the forests. It always brings you good karma, you know. So what's the worst that happens? You clean up the lake and maybe you get a fish, you know, as a result of it. And I've always liked to say that. So go ahead and do that. Kind of reposition myself over it, make the dive down, and take care of that. So now that the plastic bag is removed from the lake, hopefully that good karma pays off while we continue to spearfish. So as I swim around on the sand, there's a literal fish laying on the sand and I can see it, so I point at it before I take my dive. Once again, I don't know what it is, I can't tell, I just see the silhouette and it's completely obvious that it's fish and not a like a rock or a stump or something like that. So breathe up, take the dive. At this point, I'm hoping for the best. You never really know. But as you can see, clearly, clear as day, just sand, 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 and this fish is just laying right in between like two little rifts on the sand, and sure enough, it's a walleye. Taking a midday nap, and I swim right up to him and get too close, and he takes off. But at this point, I don't want to waste my shot on a walleye when I'm looking to target lake trout. So this one gets a pass, just like 2 or 3 more others later on in the video. But that is part of spearfishing, man. You will see walleye, and walleye will sleep throughout the day. They'll just lay on the bottom and take a break. Whether they eat, they stay out all night, I don't know. But they just chill right there on the bottom, and if you're cautious enough, you can swim right up to them. This is the same thing here. I spot a just another dark spot on the bottom next to a rock, which I can tell is a fish from the surface. So take a dive, swim down there, just check them out, make sure it's not a lake trout, and sure enough, it's a walleye. It is illegal to hand fish in Michigan, which is to mean it's illegal to grab fish and catch them with your hands. But I try it here anyways, because you never know how close you can get to one. So I think if I wouldn't have set my gun down, I might have had a better chance. But same thing, give him a little reach and he takes off. No harm, no foul. That's the best part about spearfishing too. I've always said this is, you know, you don't have to harm or hurt any animal if you don't want to. So, you know, maybe a little disruption in his day, but no big deal. He went away, he didn't have a hook in his face, and unfazed from the encounter. So same thing here, just another sleeping walleye sitting on the bottom. I want you guys to see every one of these just because I dive on them just to make sure it swims off. But I think that was the 4th walleye we've seen, so I probably could have shot 4. Limit is 5 up here, but we've seen probably 8 or 9 throughout the day as we were looking for these lake trout, as you'll see later on in the video. Same kind of deal, getting the practice in, you know, practice dives, making sure everything's good. So here in the next clip, you'll see that I finally see a lake trout and dive on him.
They're just sleeping on the bottom. I haven't seen a laker or anything.
Alright, so we finally have a lake trout spotted here. You can tell just the difference. The shape and the way they swim is a lot different than a walleye. So take my breath, dive down, and man, I might have been able to take that shot, but that was just seemed a little far. I know the water was clear, so gave him a little spear fingers, and he kind of took off, and you'll see right here, he takes off a little bit quicker there at the end. So kind of take a look behind me, hoping that there's more of them, but I don't see any at that moment. And I've been in the water close to 2 hours, so I head to the surface and I let Caleb take a try, as you'll see here in the next clip.
All right, I took a break. Caleb's in the water right now. We're still in about 44 feet, 45 feet. We've seen him on the sand. I seen one, I got close and couldn't quite get a shot, so that unfortunately didn't work out. But I'm in here warming up. Caleb's gonna give it a shot. I think we can get one today. It's just going to take a little bit of patience and a little bit of work, but I think we can get one. So fingers crossed. This is this is our only real chance here. All right, Caleb went down. He's off the board. I don't see him. He's down. So let's see what happens. Come on, Come on. Come up with a big fat laker. Come up with a big fat laker. Okay, we're in neutral. I don't know where he's at. There he is. Well, you see one?
That? Huh?
You see one?
Yeah.
No cigar. What happened? They just take off on you?
Pretty skittish.
So I'm back in the water. As you can see there, I switched to the Bear 7mm gloves because my hands were frozen after the first couple hours in the water. So I made that switch, and that made a big difference. My hands felt normal. I could use them normally. So I take a dive here, same deal, just see another walleye, just checking to make sure it's not a lake trout. Same kind of deal, just kind of swim right up to them. And I assume this is what trolling guys are. This is how trolling guys catch them. These fish probably are just laying on the bottom, and they'll drag a crawler harness or they'll drag a crankbait right next to these fish, and they'll just wake up, and when they see it, they probably just go right after it. Because these fish are just spread out all over this spot, so I assume that's how they do it. But because this is generally a pretty popular walleye fishing spot in the summertime, so I don't know. Give me your thoughts on that. Let me know what you think in the comments if those fish wake up for lures when they come by. So what you're not seeing in this video is prior to me dropping is Caleb has a rope with what we call a dive board on it. And he is dragging me around. That's the only reason we're able to cover as much water as we can. Normally you just kick around and swim. So what happens is when I spot these fish from the surface, because fortunately enough we had the visibility for today to see the bottom in 50 feet of water. So I see these fish, I breathe up, I kind of get over top of them the best I can, I take a drop, and this has been generally what happens. You see these fish are kind of like, no, I don't want you getting too close to me, I know what you're up to. But that's what we were doing to conserve our energy, because swimming around all day is going to wear you out, and it's going to affect your dives and your dive times. So all we did was just threw out the rope with the dive board on it, we just drug each other around until we were able to locate these fish and try and dive on them and get an opportunity.
There are two of them. They didn't let me get very close. So that worked really good. Two of them, real big ones. Yep, but I tried to go down slow too, and one let me get 20, 30 feet, but nothing close enough to shoot at. Let's try it again.
So here's a little bit better video. This is the same deal, 50 feet of water. You can see it from the surface here. So this is exactly what I'm seeing. You can see him just kind of darting left and right there, and I'm pretty far off the back, so I thought I gave him enough space. I was hoping to maybe get down on his level and kind of sneak up behind him. And that fish was gone. He said, absolutely not. Get away from me, good sir. I will not be taking part in this underwater fishing escapade. And away he goes. I think you can see two of them right there. So once again, lots of fish here. No issue with fish. It's just getting close to them. They simply don't want anything to do with us in the water, man. There's no doubt about that. So I give Caleb the 1 minute finger there just because I'm seeing fish here and I think I can get on top of them again. So I take a deep breath, I head to the bottom, and I'm going to try the old sit and wait tactic here. I just want to try and sit on the bottom. It's like, dive bombing on these fish is is scaring them off. So maybe just sitting on the bottom. You know, fish get curious. They see something new enter the water and lay on the bottom. They want to come investigate it, check it out, see what's in their habitat. So I try one of those, just lay right here on the bottom. And as to be expected when you watch this video, these fish don't come anywhere near me. They don't want anything to do with me. Also, because I probably just scared them away. So probably not the best spot to try laying on the bottom waiting for them when you just scare them out of a location. But in my frozen state of mind and desperate tries to get one to get close, this is where my head was. So just lay on the bottom for about a minute 20 here. Not lay on the bottom, I should say. I lay on the bottom for about 30 seconds. And then overall, it's about a minute 20 dive, top to bottom. But as seen, nothing comes in, investigates, checks us out. So unfortunately, still no lake trout. And this is where we start getting into desperate measures.
There's like 5 of them here. There's a lot. They don't like me though. There's one that was fucking huge. I'm just gonna cruise for a second on my own strength.
So as soon as I say that, you can see it right here. I see another fish, big black, silhouette on the bottom. I'm like, hell yeah, here we go. Let's just keep trying the same thing over and over and over. Maybe with enough work, it'll pan out for me one of these times. So breathe up, take a dive, start clearing that halfway point, and I'm like, wait, that's not a lake trout. That's old Mr. Walleye. Just come out of nowhere, and he said, "Hey, what are you doing? You up to anything fun?" And knowing lake trout are in the area, I'm like, son of a gun. So let him pass. Try not to waste any good shots or spook off any more fish. But yep, Mr. Walleye was out there cruising with those lake trout. So I hop back on the back of the boat, and Caleb begins to pull me again. And sure enough, we come across another one, and I take a breath, dive down. And at first, this looks pretty promising. I'm getting fairly close, but once again, not close enough for a shot. And he kind of scoots off there, and then right here he puts on the turbos and says, "Absolutely not. I'm going to stay away from you like you have the plague." So that was a better encounter, though. Got a little closer. He wasn't as skittish at first, but obviously, once it got down on his level, he super. And there you can see the dive board that we've been using. That's what gets us pulling around there.
As fast as he could swim away, he swam. Hey, do you remember when I was like, I don't want to catch one and shoot one? I lied.
So what I meant in that scenario was, Caleb mentioned, he's like, hey, we could have caught a limit of these by now. So he's like, hey, if you want to just catch one and you can shoot it on while it's on the hook, that way you could say you got one. And I was like, no, we're never going to do anything like that. I'm not that desperate. And at that point, I was like, I think we should. So anyways, here we are, same thing, back on them. And here we go. I actually get close enough to feel comfortable to pull the trigger, and I shoot just low. I think that was at the very, very end of that gun's range, and I guess it just didn't figure the Kentucky windage enough, didn't aim high enough, as that shaft was sinking at a considerable rate, and shot literally right under him. So we're back at the surface here. We're going to go ahead and reload. So at this point, I'm kind of licking my wounds. I'm trying to figure out. I'm like, obviously, that was my best opportunity, and it still didn't quite work out very well. So, you know, we've been in the water for about 4 or 5 hours now at this point, and we're starting to get discouraged. So it's like, we got to come up with a new plan, or else we're just going to continue to have the same mess. And that's kind of what we figured out here. You're going to hear me make a statement, and then the next video is what we decide to do afterwards, which is deploy the flasher. You know, I had that JBL flasher sitting in the bag, and that's what we decided to end up going with.
This is almost verifiably stupid at this point. I think this is verifiably stupid at this point.
So that's when Caleb said, hey, let's throw that flasher in. So that's what he did, and the next video is going to be me diving on a fish. So you can't see it here because these big stupid 7mm gloves, it's really hard to press the button, the record button on the top of the GoPro. So I wasn't able to get it until I was about halfway down already. But that fish came right up to the flasher, and when I was down, it decided to take off. So there's the flasher right there. You can see the it's a pink squid. I think it's a saltwater flasher, generally speaking. So it's got a pink squid with some little mirrors that are shaped like minnows, and it worked flawlessly, honestly. Like, first drop worked.
Okay, it worked. He came right up to it. I couldn't get a shot on him, but it worked.
So about 5 minutes after I told him that, sure enough, another one comes in. The flasher is doing his thing. He's distracted. Get close enough, and I line it up, and I make the perfect shot. Stone cold right in the back of the head, and that fish is out. Now, I had those 7mm gloves on. Can't press the dang button. So I didn't think I was recording. So I secure the fish, go to press it. I get to the surface, and I'm like, oh, I wasn't recording.
Guys,
so press it.
We just
And here you go.
late trout with the spear gun. Look at that. Using the flasher. Oh my God. Bro, the flasher was a ticket, dude. It distracted him enough to let me get right on top of him. Look at that puppy right there, brother. All right, dude, it worked. Like, he came right up to it again, 2 of them. I dove right on top of him. He didn't even look at me. It's getting a little dirty. It's getting a little dirty just with the haziness or whatever, but it totally worked. Yeah. Hey, can you get a picture of me in this puppy? Woo. Here, let me get that spear shot down.
So you have now officially seen the first lake trout ever harvested with a spear gun in the state of Michigan. That was documented. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and hopefully I'll have some more long form content ready to put out here in the next couple of months. I have lots of videos. It takes a long time to put these stupid videos together, and I'll be 100% honest. I enjoy being in the water, and I have a job, so but I'll work harder to get more videos out for you guys if you enjoy them. So like, comment, do all the bullshit, and I'll see you on the next one.
Yeah. So, should have probably done that first thing in the morning, huh? Oh, he's got those weird little bumps now. What's over that?
So the guy at Wellman told us that they get tumors on them.
Yeah.
And it's just because, like, they say, like, well, the ones we had were a little bigger than that, but he was guessing, like, they're like 15, 20-year-old fish.
Yeah.
Old, he says it's normal.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, you wanna get in?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, let me get out here.